Stock Santa here. AirPods, $179. Listen, it's the holidays. I'm the authority on this. Your kids don't need any more presents. Stock Santa says instead of spending $179 on AirPods, get your kids Apple stock instead. $189 per share. $189, and they can actually own something that will appreciate instead of those little plastic things that'll fall out of their ears and they'll step on it and it'll break, or they'll lose it in the car and it'll be gone forever and you never know where it went again. Now look, I know a lot of people say, hey, you don't know what it's like. Your kids come downstairs, they see the tree, the presents, the look in their eyes, oh, it's wonderful, it's majestic, whatever. I get it. I'm not saying no gifts. I'm just saying a little less. We have to, we always talk about, oh, change is so hard, change is so hard. Let's be the generation that fosters that change, that welcomes that change in. And I know it's hard. That's why I'm saying not no presents, still get some gifts. But let's kind of start shifting away from being heavy in gifts and give your kids something that they'll actually appreciate and that will actually also appreciate. An Xbox, the 1 terabyte size, is $349, $350 for an Xbox. Now, if they don't have an Xbox and they don't have any gaming console and they really want a gaming console and you think the family will use it, okay, fine. But in addition to that, also consider who makes the Xbox. It's Microsoft. And 1 share of Microsoft is $378, $378. Get the Xbox, get the stock. But in some instances, look, you're going to end up getting the thing anyway. I know it because I know you, I'm Santa. If you're going to end up getting it anyway, buy some stock as well. Tell your kids, teach them about investing. Teach your kids about the consumer mindset versus the investor mindset, and slowly start making that shift. I'm talking about 1 share at a time in a custodial account for your kids, just so they can see it and be like, wow, I have ownership in a company. Quick story, and then we'll get to the next one. When I was a little kid, I was a big McDonald's fan. I'm still a big McDonald's fan. And after school one day, my mom took me for a little after school snack, and I'm sitting there and I'm eating McDonald's. I'm going on and on about how much I love McDonald's. And my mom says to me, if you love it so much, why don't you own it? And I said, own it? I was probably like 8 years old. What do I know? Own it. And that's the moment that my mom explained to me what investing was. She sat me down in the McDonald's as I was eating the stuff, telling me about the stock. And I went home and I said, I gotta own McDonald's. We gotta make this happen. How can I do it? And that's when I became a McDonald's shareholder. All of a sudden, I was obsessed with the stock market. How can we get more shares? I want more shares. What else can I buy? The average American, speaking of McDonald's, spends $1,200 a year on fast food. The average American spends $1,200 per year on fast food. Now, I couldn't find any statistics on what the average family spends or what little kids spend. Not that they're spending it, the parents are spending it, but you know what I mean. I couldn't really find that statistic. So we'll just go with the average American, $1,200 a year at McDonald's or at fast food locations. Now, McDonald's is $281 per share for their stock. So maybe you cut back a little. I mean, we all know fast food isn't exactly healthy. So cut back. Use some of that money that you would have spent at McDonald's and buy the stock. And in addition to getting the shares, you also will get $6.68 in the form of a dividend. I mean, that's pretty sweet. You can use that dividend to buy more Big Macs, although I don't recommend that. I would reinvest the dividends, obviously. Now, up next, speaking of the holiday season and gifts arriving in the mail, the average American spends $91.75 at Amazon. $91.75 per month at Amazon, or on Amazon, or in Amazon. It doesn't really matter. 1 share of Amazon stock is $146 per share. $146. That means basically every other month, instead of buying crap that's going to end up in a closet, in your basement, in a box, broken and in a landfill, you can be investing in the company instead. 5 days at Disney World for a family of 4, almost $7,000. Now, Stock Santa is a big fan of experiences over things. So I would not say skip the trip. Vacations are good for everybody. However, One share of Disney stock is around $92. And you can actually own the thing that you love. Now, because this is the holiday gift giving guide and we've already gone over some individual stocks, we're going to get to a last little category here, ETFs, index funds. If you ever follow me on TikTok, I have 200 and let me take this off now. Let's get serious for a minute. My name is Kenneth and I teach my 218, actually I think it's 219,000 followers how to invest, trade if they're interested, and to live below their means, which I think is the most important. And if you ever follow me, you know that I'm a big believer in the foundation first. What's the foundation? It's an S&P 500 index fund. I think everyone should have one. I can't give financial advice, so I don't know if I can say I think everyone should have one, but you should definitely consider having the foundation being an S&P 500 index fund. The next, and that's usually because it's the safest, it has the longest track record of history going back, so we can kind of estimate how it might do in the future. It gives you exposure to over 500 companies, S&P 500, so it gives you that diversity. And I think that the foundation is a good starting point for all investors, especially new investors, and especially investors who go, I want to invest, but I just don't know what to buy. And the reason I say this is because a lot of new investors come to the markets, unfortunately, because they heard of a hot tip on TikTok or on Instagram, go buy the stock, it's going to quadruple in a week and you'll be rich. And they start with the worst thing you can do, which is speculative investing first. They go heavy into high risk, they lose their money, they get discouraged, not realizing that by investing or trading or short-term investing in something that was speculative, they weren't investing, they weren't even really trading, they didn't have a plan, they didn't cut their losses, they didn't move on, they just threw a lot of money in and went like this. This isn't what day trading or swing trading is, it's not what investing is, and they get wrecked. And then they walk away from the whole markets. They go, investing sucks. Well, you weren't really investing, but that's how it works in their head. They get scared. So foundation first. So if you're shopping for a kid who's hard to shop for and you don't know what to get them, hey, just get them everything. Get an S&P 500 index fund. Next up on the list is kids that are heavy into tech. And I've picked one, but there are several tech-heavy ETFs. And the last one would be for your kid who is a big Monopoly fan. You might want to consider something like a real estate investment trust. And I've chosen, for an example, Realty Income. You can see that it's $54 per share, and it gives them exposure to the real estate industry. Not only that, but real estate investment trusts pay monthly. Now, the whole point of this video isn't to deprive your children of gifts on the holidays. The real point of this video is that we're trying to make that shift very slowly. People always say, oh, I wish we could change, but it's so ingrained in us to not change. It's, I know we should buy our kids less gifts, but then the holidays come around. I go on TikTok all the time because I'm on TikTok all the time. And all the videos are, I'm not spending, I'm not buying, Black Friday, boo, boo, I'm going to revolt, I'm going to protest, I'm not going to participate in Black Friday. Well, as I edit this video later, I'm going to put up an image here that shows you that a lot of people didn't do that. We had records at Black Friday. So we say one thing, protest, enough, no more Black Friday. But then, like I said, it's so ingrained in our culture, in our society, and even in our heads, you can't not give gifts. You can't. I went to a friend's house the other day, has a bunch of kids, and he said, hey, bring something for the kids. They like it when people show up with gifts. And I was like, why do I have to show up with gifts for your kids? They have enough stuff. He said, oh, it's just something they like. They like gifts. And, you show up, you give them a little, like a Matchbox car, something stupid. I said, so I'm going to spend $12 on some dumb toys that are going to get broken and lost in a week. Also, your kids can have the experience of when people come over, they bring them gifts. So stupid. So naturally, I showed up with I made brownies instead because I can cook and I can bake. So I thought, I'll make brownies instead. I'm not gonna go and buy a toy that's gonna end up in a landfill. So then I don't know if they were mad or they were like, oh, that's not really a toy. We wanted it. Doesn't matter. 2 minutes later, we were all joking and laughing about other stuff, and we'd moved on from it. But when it's ingrained in you that you expect gifts and you give gifts and you show up with gifts and the holidays and the tree and the picture and people post their Instagram photos with the tree and thousands of presents under it, it's hard to be the first one to make that change. which is why I'm suggesting slowly making it. I'm not saying no gifts for anyone ever, just less and more investments instead. Things that will appreciate. Your kids might not actually appreciate the gifts right now, but the gift will appreciate over time. Dividends, growth. Maybe you add more to that position. You buy them 1 share to start, then 2 shares, then 10, then 20. Then they start getting into it because they see what's happening to their money and they go, well, that's not very much profit. And you go, well, we only bought you 2 shares. What? Well, I want more shares. Great. Let's try to make that happen for 2024. All right, enough wasting of your time. I hope you thought this video was interesting. If you did, please hit the bell, the follow, the subscribe, leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.